You got sniped, Paradoxica. Sniped right out from underneath you. Hey, Lobster, how are you doing? Okay, hopefully stream decides it wants to work tonight. Unlike the last couple ways, or the last couple times. But yeah, how are you doing, Lobster? Hmm. Gosh, it's been a few days. What was my Fulbright voice? My Fulbright voice was something along the lines of, "This entire case centers on one man's attempt to crush the opposition to the municipal merger. Mayor Tenma panicked when the amazing Ninetails helped to embolden the protesters." I think this is his voice. Hey, Paradoxica, how are you doing? So he stoked the villagers' fears by fabricating a monster. The strange feathers and tracks he planted made it look like a yokai was the killer. Doing good? Nice. Hey, Banana, how are you doing? Tonight might be a bit of a lower energy stream because I had a long day at work tonight. Usually, so I work two jobs. I work one doing a cartridge refilling for printer cartridges, and I work as a dishwasher at a theater. My usual like expected workload over at the theater, because it's like it's like a traditional theater, not like a movie theater. My expected like range of people is like 60 to 80 people that I'm doing dishes for on a on like a, you know, relatively big day. Like 80 is stretching it. 80 is like a big day most of the time. And like 60 is like average, but it's like at the high end of average. Today we had 120 people and I did not get a break. So I am very sore. As you can probably imagine. Those feathers and tracks stoke the villagers' fears? Absolutely. You knew exactly how to prey on their superstitious minds. Isn't that illegal? Well, okay. It's technically speaking, it's not a... Well, technically speaking, isn't it only illegal if it's, if you work, like, a certain amount? Like, if your work day is over a certain amount of hours? But, anyway, it was more of, like, it was more of a thing of, like, most of the time, I finish everything that I have, and then I, go and sit down and chill for a bit. But it just kept coming. Like, I've dealt with bigger nights, but any night cracking 100 people is bad. Like, it is hard to do. And I got out of work an hour later than I usually do. Depends on the state. Yeah, I usually only work 5-hour nights over there. But I worked a 6-hour night because there was so much shit to do. Those feathers only gave weight to the idea that the alderman was slain by a demon. Also, how's my voice? Like, how is my, volume? I always have to double check because I have to adjust my mic every time. The accursed demon, Tenma Taro, that is. Tenma who? Tenma Taro, the legendary demon locked away in the village's forbidden chamber. From a young age, the villagers are taught to fear the great black feathered demon. And thus they were blinded to other more plausible explanation. Or were they? Wow, he's talking poetically. Hold on for a second. Before we start letting our I just read that as imaginations run wild. Isn't there someone else that could be considered a suspect? Mr. Justice, please explain yourself. On the day of the incident, there was a special event held at Kyubi Manor. And as part of this event, there was someone dressed in the likeness of Tenma Taro. Obviously, this person is a much more likely suspect than any legendary demon.
Objection!
Dillard, you're playing right into the killer's mind games. Oh, Blackcool is great. You say that he's closeted. Nah, he's like he would be full like out and proud. He's just goth. Why is that guy wearing a chain and a shackle? Because he is currently serving a prison sentence. Dillard, you're playing right into the killer's mind games. What? Listen here. The feathers and tracks were merely red herrings. The villagers believe the murder to be the work of the real Tenma Taro. However, the police believe that the person in the Tenma Taro suit is the killer. He's into BDSM. He would be. The defendant sought to sow this confusion in order to deflect blame away from himself. You know, I'm not gonna lie to you, I never noticed that Blackquill underneath his coat is basically wearing a butler getup. I genuinely never noticed that. He's like Frederick from Fire Emblem Awakening. You take one layer off and he's just a butler. And thus our mentally deficient mayor was caught red-handed at the scene of the crime. He'd be the one being tied up in BDSM? Yeah. Why do you think he's wearing the shackles right now? He's a voyeur.
Objection!
Do you honestly believe Mayor Tenma would do something so stupid?
Objection!
The evidence speaks for itself. Fulbright. Sorry, that probably sounded gross. Right. It was the mayor's last-ditch effort to stop the opposition before things got crazy. The amazing Ninetales was fueling both the yokai craze and the anti-merger movement. Plus, he's one of the better-known masked wrestlers and the hometown favorite. That's why the mayor panicked and set out on the path of injustice. But do the people of Ninetales Vale really believe a yokai is behind the crime? Yokai sightings are an everyday event there, so I wouldn't be surprised if they did. I must say, a crime that preys upon innocent, impressionable minds. Just so. Hurt me more, because only through pain can a person achieve glory. A samurai can only achieve battle by dying, can only achieve honor by dying on the battlefield. Just so, a particularly silver-tongued inmate once had the following words for me. The innocent of heart are the easiest prey. You don't say. Is this inmate a con artist? No. His framed for the murder of his beloved. I actually felt sorry for the poor chap. Wait, so he wasn't the predator, but rather the prey? Sir, this is a Wendy's. Yes, well, I'll have 2 number 9s, a number 9 large, a number 6 with extra dip, 2 number 45s, 1 with cheese, and a large soda. That whole monologue was like a running gag in Pine Spoons and I's friend group, so that's why I have that memorized. Now then, the defense may proceed with their cross-examination. Your Honor, you do realize that this isn't a Wendy's, right? This entire case centers on one man's attempt to crush opposition to the municipal merger.
Hold it!
You know, I gotta say, like, I like doing my femme voices a lot, but at the same time, doing the mask voices is also pretty fun. Oh, whoops. Detective Fulbright, is the anti-merger movement really that strong? Oh, absolutely. They parade around in yokai costumes, shouting, "Down with Mayor Tenma." And just the other day, they stormed Tenma City Hall, claiming it was a den of vipers. When the accused showed his face, angry mobs scattered like leaves upon an autumn wind. For you see, lowly yokai are no match for Tenma Taro, the dark lord of their kind.
Wait, are the villagers scared of Mayor Tenma or Tenma Taro? I'm confused.
I think he means Mayor Tenma. It's easy to get the wrong impression about the guy. Mr. Fulbright, why do you suppose the defendant would commit such an act? But yeah, the other nice thing is that, like, I will fully admit, as much as I absolutely had a blast replaying through Valhalla and doing a whole bunch of the stuff that I missed on my first playthrough, that game wore me the fuck out. Because, like, I have one femme voice that I can do that I can last, like, maybe 2 hours doing without getting tired. Like, but, like, having to switch between, like, 6 different femme voices just absolutely shredded my voice. Mayor Tenma panicked when the amazing Ninetales helped embolden the protesters.
Hold it!
We're gonna have to recheck through all of our evidence. Amazing Ninetales. No one knows his true identity, right? That's right. And he was a lone wolf. Or in other words, he didn't belong to a wrestling federation. I think he's more of a fox than a wolf, Detective Fulbright. He appeared like a shooting star, defeating one Tenma Town wrestler after another. Okay, this is gonna sound really, really stupid. Why does, like, I know that it's just the point of view with, like, the boot over this dude's head in the background. Out of the corner of my eye, this dude this dude looked like he had the hair of Soul Bad Guy from Guilty Gear. And before anyone knew it, he was a champion. Like the samurai of yore, surrounded thick with enemies, he cut them down one by one. It was a complete and utter loss of face for Tenma Town Pro Wrestling. He was amazing! If ever there was a real superhero, it would be him. I dream of becoming a true champion of justice like him someday.
I bet Detective Fulbright would be a great pro wrestler. He could even team up with Prosecutor Blackwell.
Police detective and a prisoner in chains. You know, I think people would actually pay to see that. I know I would. So you do understand the greatness that is the amazing Ninetales. So he stoked the villagers' fears by fabricating a monster.
Hold it!
Did the murder and yokai evidence really stoke the villagers' fears? Also, I just realized I'm gonna be doing a single episode of this and then taking a 2-day break from streaming this. Again. I feel really bad. I have, like, I know that I need to get better at, like, allowing myself to take breaks from stream games, but, man, I feel bad whenever I start a series and then immediately stop, and I feel really bad that I haven't streamed Elden Ring in 2 weeks. Or possibly even 3, it's been a bit. I almost did Elden Ring tonight, but I was like, I should probably follow the schedule. Did the murder and yokai evidence really stoke the villagers' fears? Absolutely. It had an immediate effect. The presumed return of the dreaded Tenma Taro has them shaking in their boots. Oh my, is it really that bad? That superstitious lot. It's as if Jack the Ripper had been set loose in their village. The lawman and attack dog. The mere thought of that demon lurking around is enough to spark a mass exodus. Wow, I lost all of the gravel out of his voice. I see, that's a very persuasive argument. Mere thought of his honor buying into Simon the Psycho Slasher's words. There you go. The lawman and the Psycho Slasher. Makes me want to spark my own exodus out of the courtroom right about now. So you see, there can only be one reason why anyone would plant those feathers in tracks. The strange feathers and tracks he planted made it look like a yokai was the killer.
Hold it!
How much lead do you believe is in the paint of this village? Nah, it's like lead groundwater. It's like the South. It's like the American, like, South, where they found out that they're like, when they pull water out of the ground, it's got like dangerous levels of lead in it if you don't filter it heavily first. Or it's heavy metals, not specifically just lead. But it doesn't add up. If what you say is true, why top it off with murder? What do you mean? You claim that our client planted the yokai evidence to stoke the villagers' fears. If so, then why not stop there? Why murder Alderman QB? Mercury poisoning. Cobalt is also a heavy metal, is poisonous as well, isn't it? Excellent point. It is, isn't it? So Your Honor agrees that there was no reason for the murder, correct? Oh, trust me, that's not the only thing that America's faking. How did I? Ow! Hey, Apollo. Oh wait, I guess it's like this. Apollo. Down over here in the corner. I don't even know why this happens, like... I'm very glad that I set up a reset keybind.
Objection!
Perhaps the killing was on the spur of the moment. That's not how that phrase is used. You're saying it wasn't premeditated. From the outset, I had no intention of paying heed to any of your babble. However, the fact is, the mayor made a startling discovery. a startling discovery. Why don't I like the sound of that? Lead, mercury, arsenic, cadmium, and chromium. Is arsenic a metal? This is gonna make me sound really dumb. I didn't realize that arsenic was a metal. Alderman Cuby's secret identity.
Apollo, I think Prosecutor Blackwell's figured out the Alderman's secret identity. But even if he has, why would it be a motive for the mayor to commit murder?
This is not good. The patch of fur was discovered at the crime scene. It's from the mask worn by the amazing Ninetales. Therefore, we can conclude that this mask was at the scene of the crime. Oh my, but why would it have been there? Yeah, now that I've had it pointed out to me, like, the animations in this game are very stiff, aren't they? Beryllium as well. The victim was a former pro wrestler and a member of the anti-merger movement. Need I say more? Well, could it really be? All are considered toxic metals. Your baldness has had an epiphany, I see. Our victim, Rex Cuby, was the amazing Ninetales. And the mayor's discovery of this fact was his motive for murder. No! I like that. I don't know if y'all saw that, but like Blackwell looked like he was A-posing during that wide shot. Order, order. What a shocking development. Motive clear, then crystal clear.
What do we do now, Apollo?
I didn't think they'd tie the Alderman's secret identity to the mayor's motive for murder. At last, we've reached my real point. Why did the Alderman have to forge a secret identity? Does it not pique your interest, your baldness? I admit it does. It is odd that he had to create this other persona just to secretly participate in the anti-merger movement. He went to the Velvet Room and made a persona. It was that motherfucker who reflects physical. I was gonna say hopefully it isn't Mara, but nah, it's the motherfucker who reflects physical. Very astute of you, your baldness. Right. Now to take a look at this. If you value your dearest life, you will merge Ninetales Vale with Tenma Town. This blackmail letter was found in Alderman Cuby's pocket. What? At present, the Alderman's wife is in the hospital. And that letter is clear evidence the mayor was blackmailing him by threatening her life.
Wait, didn't the blackmail letter sent to Mayor Tenma go missing? Right after the Alderman's murder?
I love that when she's doing this face, I love that her hair on the left gets scrunched. I think maybe the killer took the letter from the mayor after the murder. That is a weirdly difficult sentence to read. Cadmium can make your bones soft. I think I already knew that. You gotta have calcium to make your bones strong for the skeleton war. Like I said when we were playing Monster Camp the other night, if you can't sit still and you're stuck like restlessly fidgeting, it's your skeleton telling you that it's ready to hatch. Implanted it into the alderman's pocket?
It's possible, but we don't really have any, or we don't have any proof that that's what happened.
Talk about being up the creek without a paddle. Mayor Tenma would have made a clean getaway if he'd just left after planting the yokai things. But he was knocked out cold by his sudden decision to kill the amazing Ninetales. So it was the amazing Ninetales' counterattack that brought the entire crime to light. Wait a sec. Albright's claiming that the mayor killed the alderman after planting the yokai evidence, and that the mayor was knocked out cold immediately after that? You're attacked by a group of skeletons. Remember to use cadmium spray to melt them. Yeah, cadmium spray is the real-life bone-hurting juice. Detective Fulbright, please add your previous statement to your testimony. Mayor Tenma killed the sleeping alderman after planting the feathers and tracks. Are we supposed to be pointing out that, the tracks are made in blood? Yeah, how would he have planted the tracks if there was no blood to plant them with? Oh, also, the feathers are the feathers are on top of the blood, which means that the blood was spilled before the feathers were placed.
Objection!
Man, one thing that I really love about Ace Attorney as like a series is that it gets you thinking differently about stuff. Like, once you kind of get the hang of it, which admittedly it takes a bit to like get into the groove of how Ace Attorney wants you to think, but once you get into the groove of it, like it's so good having that like thought of, oh, you know, you can like pull stuff apart into an order of operations sort of deal and pick it apart from there. And it just, I love the way that Ace Attorney makes you think about its stuff. Gotta think laterally and abstractly in Ace Attorney. Exactly. Like, the one of the biggest like teaching moments that teaches you like how you kind of have to approach thinking in this series is case one of the first game, where Mia is like, Phoenix, you don't need to think about like stop thinking about, you know, whether or not the clock was slow on the night of the murder. Think about why it would have had to have been slow on the night of the murder. Skelemans will communicate with skelepathy. Detective Fulbright, your sense of justice is anything but fair. What's this? You dare question my justice again? Yes, and I'm going to prove it to you. Take a look at this photo. Look at this photograph. Mr. Justice, if you say every time I do it makes me laugh, I will send you to the nightmare dimension, where Phoenix is currently. That's why he's not in this case. This is the crime scene photo. Just what does this prove? It proves when the feathers and tracks were planted. But I already told you, they were planted before the murder. Defendant planted the yokai evidence and then was knocked out while killing his victim. That would be impossible. You look right here, it's clear why the feathers and tracks were left at the scene, or when the feathers...
Take that!
Aren't you just pointing to the yokai feathers and tracks, Mr. Justice? Yes. See how the feathers are on top of the blood, and the tracks were made in blood. In other words, the yokai evidence could have only resulted after the murder. Then, the mayor must have planted the evidence after killing the alderman. But you said it yourself. The mayor had been knocked unconscious thereafter. There would have been no time for him to plant any evidence at all. Therefore, there must have been someone else beside the mayor and the alderman at the scene, or at the crime scene. Ugh! There must be some mistake. So I don't remember if I said this on stream or if I said this before stream the other night, but I was talking with Ando. I don't remember if it was a on stream thing or if it was a before we started stream thing, before we started Monster Camp. I've been kind of toying with the idea of either A, trying to make a PNG tuber again, just to like give me something to bounce like back on if I'm not feeling up to like, because this might sound really weird. VTubing like is a completely different, like, it takes a different amount of energy than just streaming without a face cam of any kind. Because you have to keep sitting upright and you have to stay within your tracking range and all that. And you have to be sure to not block your face or else this happens. Phoenix is exploring his chakras with a strange and witchy woman who's way into crystals. Order, order. Nah, he's off seeing Truce. He's off at one of Trucy's magic shows. Where's your evidence? You can't possibly have any, can you? Evidence? Oh, I have evidence. In fact, I have an eyewitness's testimony for you. You do? But how? Was my vaunted sense of justice really just half-baked? Watch a lot of VTubers and yeah, it gets tiring. So yeah, I've been like, I kind of want to see if I can make myself a PNG tuber that I'm happy with. Because if I can make myself a PNG tuber, then it gives me something to swap to if I'm not feeling up to having the camera on me. Fulbright's great. Here's the thing. Dual Destinies introduces a lot of characters. And while it's really dumb, because I agree that the follow-up to Apollo Justice should have focused more on Apollo instead of introducing a billion new characters. But at the same time, I also really like Athena, really like Black Quill, and really like Fulbright. Like, I know that they take away, like, they take screen time away from Apollo, Clavier, and Emma, respectively. But, like, man, I really love these characters. Like,
he's taking this really hard.
Mr. Justice, what is this testimony regarding a third party that you claim to have? I have it right here, Your Honor. It's the sworn testimony of Mr. Tenma's daughter. The witness, Jinxie Tenma, saw a yokai in the hallway after stumbling upon the scene. It was the demon, Tenmataro. He's the source of those feathers and tracks. No, here's the thing, Banana. It wasn't a situation of we're running out of ideas, throw in a million new people. It was people didn't like Apollo Justice when it first came out. Because people didn't like Apollo Justice when it first came out because of the direction that they took Phoenix in as a character. And some of the cases in Apollo Justice are not great. Turnabout gas leak. Because, you know, you spend a whole trilogy with Phoenix, and it's weird swapping over to another character. You know? It's the whole, you know, I don't like different thing. He's no Phoenix, right? Well, here's the difficult thing, is that people really love to compare and contrast Phoenix and Apollo, but it's not a fair argument, because yes, they occupy the same, like, narrative location, if that makes sense. Like, they're both the main characters, and they're both defense attorneys, and they've both got, you know, stuff going on. But, it's not fair to compare Phoenix with Phoenix, who got 3 games to himself, to Apollo, who got 1 game to himself, and then has to share the spotlight with Phoenix and Athena from here on out. And don't even get me started on Athena. Athena gets to be, like, the main attorney in, like, 3 cases, and it's so sad. Will somebody please say something? The defense will explain to the court exactly what he means. You dare mock this court and justice itself. You're unfit to bear your name, boy. Your baldness. It appears our defense attorney here is delirious from exhaustion.
Hold it! Apollo, think of something quick before you're held in contempt of court.
What do you think I'm trying to do? Before you decide whether I should step down, please, hear me out. Very well, Mr. Justice. I'm all ears, but you had better explain yourself well. What was this yokai you were talking about? It's all in the statement here. Jinxie Tenma asserts that she saw Tenmataro after she discovered the crime scene and called the police. She came around a corner in the hall. It was around here. It was around here that she saw Tenmataro fleeing toward the foyer. The defense asserts that whoever was impersonating this monster is the one who left those feathers and tracks behind, intentionally or otherwise. What? How incredibly unjust! Why haven't I heard about this before? Let's just prove there was someone else. Mayor isn't the killer? Is it all set up? Prosecutor is a convicted felon, after all.
Apollo, the momentum has shifted in our favor.
Good. Now let's keep it that way.
Objection!
Huh. Little do you realize that though you're in the midst of a fray, your sword is broken. My sword? I didn't know I had one to break. Are you implying there's a problem with my claim? Consider this. If that yokai impersonator had indeed fled toward the foyer, That fool and that fop would have seen him. I've been so brain poisoned by, some of my online friends, they really like foxes. We have a little, room in our Discord that's just, like, for sending random pictures of foxes and fox girls and all that. We always refer to them as the fop and the fops. And so I've been brain poisoned to read that word as a synonym with fox. Fool and fop? Oh, you mean Filch and LaBelle. Now that you mention it. Both Phineas Filch and Florent LaBelle were in the foyer at the time. But they haven't stated that they saw a yokai, have they? Did you ever consider that yokai was but a figment of a scared little girl's imagination? Why didn't those two see the Tenmataro impersonator pass by?
Why don't we ask them ourselves?
I was just about to say that myself. No, really, I was. The defense would like to call Mr. Phineas Filch, caretaker of QB Manor, to the stand. I just know he must have seen something. I suppose we can't ignore that, or the fact that a little girl believes she saw a monster. I trust you have no objections to Mr. Justice's request, Prosecutor Blackwell. I understand that Mr. Filch is enjoying a nap out in the lobby. Huh. I knew that Tanuki was a rare find. But when we captured him, I didn't think he'd end up a witness. Do with him what you will. Did he just say captured? No, wait, I don't want to know. Justice Dono. Have you heard the old adage about Tanukis? Have you ever played I the Somnium Files? I gotta stream those games eventually. I really like I1. Like, I haven't seen any or played any of I2, and I actively try to avoid spoilers for it because, like, I want to experience it blind. But yeah, exactly, Lobster. Very well then, bailiff. Please go wake Mr. Filch and escort him to the witness stand. Will the witness state his name and occupation, please? Blackwell, you're going to the nightmare dimension for 1,000 years. Your Honor, you may attempt to send me to the nightmare dimension, but I can and will reflect it back at you for 1.3 times the damage, as I'm a swordie, and I can use counter. I'm sorry, I don't know where this joke was going. I was just like, Simon Blackwell would totally be a swordie in Smash Bros. He would totally have a downbeat counterattack. Will the witness state his name and occupation, please?
Name's Filch, Phineas Filch, caretaker of QB Manor. Oh, and this is for you, your lordship. Just a little something I thought you might like.
Oh my, what a fabulous pair of shoes. Your Honor will do just fine, Mr. Filch. Ah, it's those shoes again.
Don't they belong to Detective Fulbright?
Don't tell me Filch stole them again. Don't mess with me. I have the power of God and anime on my side. Don't tell me Mr. Filch stole them again.
They're all yours, your honorship, sir.
That's wrong. What? But they seem awfully expensive.
Yep, too expensive for me. But I reckon they'd be perfect for someone like your honorship.
It's a kind gesture, but legal ethics dictate I can't accept such gifts. I play Pot of Greed, and it lets me draw 2 cards. Man, I love Yu-Gi-Oh! Like, I had a brief stint of getting back. Like, I played Yu-Gi-Oh! Way back in the day. Like, I played Yu-Gi-Oh! With my dad before synchro cards were added, so it was just fusion cards. And it was before, I think... I don't remember... I remember watching the original anime, but I don't remember watching any of, GX. And I know that, 5Ds is where they introduced synchro monsters and all that. Yu-Gi-Oh! And Digimon were your favorite things growing up. I really liked, like... The card game of Yu-Gi-Oh! Is so, like... ridiculous in how stupid the power creep is. Like, there are 2, like, Tumblr posts that always come to mind when I think of playing Yu-Gi-Oh! And one of them is the, one of the Yu-Gi-Oh! Tumblr posts that always comes to mind is the, I fucking hate Yu-Gi-Oh! Because every time I try to play, I summon my one little guy, and then somebody... and then somebody plays some card that, says, like, it's got, like, 3 paragraphs of text, and it says that because I didn't get 8 hours of sleep last night, they get to summon Nutbuster Dragon or some shit, and I guess the game is over. The 3,000 card deck is really good as well. What was the other thing I was gonna... The other one that comes to mind is, like, talking about Yu-Gi-Oh! And it's just, like, playing Yu-Gi-Oh! Is like being in a Western duel, but the whole objective is to assemble your gun and then immediately fire it at your opponent. Like... Both of you have a gun, but they're both dismantled, and you have to reassemble it to shoot it at your opponent. Everyone always makes fun of pendulum summoning. Pendulum summoning is sick as fuck, actually. Like, I will stand by that. Also, thank you for the hydrate and the stretch. Oh, wait, I already read this.
Ah, ethics smethics. Just take him if you want him. Polished him up real nice for you, too.
I'm sorry about the shoes, Mr. Bilge, but I will accept your testimony. Did you hear that? Okay, man, tonight is a night of tangents. Lobster, did you hear about the new Disney card game that is repeating Yu-Gi-Oh's mistakes of not having a deck limit? Ort would like to hear whether you saw Tenmataro in the foyer after the murder. Wait. I can't remember. What was it? I think it was during the Monster Camp stream, actually. I think Ando brought up, like the, catapult turtle. Target the moon!
Time of the murder, I was on guard duty in the foyer, just like Mr. QB said. I was making sure no one, fair, foul, or fishy, or otherwise, could get to our guest. I was still in my office keeping a good watch when the murder happened after 3 p.m. But I didn't see nothing out of the ordinary, no siree.
That yokai you keep jabbering on about was but a phantom of a little girl's dreams. So, you're telling this court that you never saw anyone dressed up like Tenmataro?
Yep, I was guarding the whole time. That's the truth, holy truth, and utter better the truth. And Tenmataro? You don't really believe in all that yokai mumbo-jumbo, do ya? I certainly don't.
Bracelet. It's...
Something the matter, Apollo?
My bracelet keeps squeezing my arm.
Really? So you think Mr. Tanuki, Filch, has been lying to us?
I wouldn't rule it out. Now, just zero in on a tell. Some sort of nervous habit. Ah! What the? What's a hawk doing in here? Allow me to introduce my trusty cohort, Taka. He seems to have taken quite a liking to the courthouse. Made it his new home, in fact. He doesn't live with you, in jail? Who's ever heard of a courthouse bird? Taka simply loathes trickery and fraud. And that queer power of yours seems to have offended my dear bosom buzzard. He can sense your queerness, Apollo. My bird's gaidar's off the charts. Ah! I won't be able to spot squat like this.
What the heck's going on around here? Run for the hills.
No pets or other animals allowed in the courtroom. Ah, somebody help! Oh, he's merely having a bit of sport. He won't harm you, save when truly famished. In that case, Prosecutor Blackquill, you'll ensure your feathered friend is properly fed.
Looks like we have to do this the old-fashioned way.
We'll be fine, I think. There was someone dressed as Tenmataro there. Filch should have seen him. We'll just have to put our faith in Jinxie's statement for now. Mr. Justice, please proceed with your cross-examination. If you can't tell already, this is the game's excuse for why the perceived mechanic is just not in this game. It's not in this game. This is the... This bird shall become my new pet. I shall call him Terror.
At the time of the murder, I was on guard duty in the foyer, just like Mr. QB asked.
Hold it!
But yes, that is the actual genuine explanation for why Apollo cannot use his perceive in court in this game. Mr. Filch, why did Alderman QB have you handle guard duty?
Because he trusts me. I am the manor's caretaker, after all.
So you took said guard duty seriously. Why is Perceived not in court? Because they want to show off the fancy new mechanic, the Mood Matrix.
Let me tell you something about me. I'm... Yipes!
Listen here, you little Tanuki. Get straight to the point and be quick about it. The court wishes to hear what you did or didn't see in the foyer. Naught else.
Yes, of course, sir. Right away, sir.
Blackwell's got him completely under his thumb.
Like I said, I was guarding the foyer entrance that day. I was making sure no one, fair, foul, fishy, or otherwise, get to our guest.
Oh, whoops.
Hold it!
So no one could get to him. Sounds like security was pretty tight.
That's because there was always lots of sneaks and thieves around festival time.
The solution was to entrust the manor's security to a thief. It's not even funny.
Maybe it's a matter of stopping thieves by hiring one. After all, it takes one to know one.
I don't know, seems more like letting the fox guard the henhouse to me. The witness testifies that he took guard duty seriously.
Yes, sir. Your Honorship, sir. I was still in my office, keeping a good watch. The murder happened after 3 p.m.
Hold it!
Thank you for the beanage, Banana. Did you really keep an eye on the foyer the entire time?
Poor old Filchy. Been working hard my whole life. Only to be smeared by some greenhorn in his fancy schmancy suit and silly haircut. Sorry, Mr. Blackwell, sir. Didn't mean to get off subject there.
Sheesh. Blackwell didn't even say anything.
To answer your question, yes, I kept an eye on... No, both of them, in fact, on the foyer.
We out here at 3 a.m. looking for beans. Yeah, exactly.
I didn't see nothing out of the ordinary. No siree.
Hold it!
Could you describe to the court who you would consider fishy looking?
Someone all fidgety and shifty like. You know, like they're about to steal something?
He just described himself.
I wonder why Mr. Filch didn't see Tenmataro.
Maybe Jinxie only thinks she saw Tenmataro. Or,
Maybe Mr. Filch is lying.
if he's lying, we might be able to spot a contradiction in his testimony.
At the time of the murder, I was on guard duty in the foyer, just like Mr. QB asked.
Oh, wait, still in my office keeping good watch when the murder happened after 3 p.m. I assume that we're supposed to, point out TV guide. Wait, when did the murder happen? How do we not have an autopsy report? Oh wait, is this the autopsy report? It is. Around 3:20 p.m. The victim had been in a drug-induced slumber. I could use my power, we'd know, but Blackwell Seagull is constantly harassing me. Apollo's like, Blackwell Seagull won't stop harassing me, and the judge is just like, don't you dare talk ill about my new pet. This is Terror, and he's a hawk, not a seagull. Did you know that we sometimes get pigeons in the courtroom? Sometimes they just fly in through the doors when people come in. It's like a supermarket. See, there's some up in the rafters right now. That's always been really odd seeing, like, just birds in a supermarket sometimes. I got a supermarket nearby that's got, like, stupid high ceilings. Like, the ceilings in it are, like, high enough that you could build, like, a maybe 2.5 story building out of it. It's crazy. Howlin' Wolf versus Pretty Boy Vampire. Join the hunt for Tofu Taro, a high-protein yokai. Nerdy Yokai, episode 8. Wait, you're really human? I love, okay. It's like a personal hobby of mine to, like, whenever they give you shit like this that's just like a newspaper article, I always love reading the other stuff that they put on the page, because 9 times out of 10, it's just shit posts. I see Mr. Bones. Mr. Bones. Also, I just noticed something. Why does the Switch make the music quiet when you zoom? Um... Is this a game where you can present profiles? No. Time of the murder, I was on guard duty in the foyer, just like Mr. QB said, or asked. I was making sure no one fair, foul, fishy, or otherwise could get to our guest. I was still in my office keeping a good watch when the murder happened after 3 p.m. I didn't see nothing out of the ordinary, no siree. Have confidence.
Objection!
Okay, that was right. Don't lie to the court like that, Mr. Filch.
Hey, it ain't right to bushwhack a fella like that.
Mr. Bones is the most dangerous yokai. He'll steal your bones while you're sleeping. Unfortunately for you, I have evidence that proves that you're lying. If you look at this TV listing here, you'll see at the time of the crime, there was a pro wrestling match scheduled. Something you'd never miss.
Ah! I didn't watch that one. No siree. I was doing my job just like I was supposed to.
This guy doesn't know when to give up. Mr. Filch, someone even circled the match. It was you, right?
Yipes.
Not only that, you even told me you watched it. You said, and I quote, "It was a complete disaster."
Ah.
So, do you admit slacking off?
You can't trick me with your Rudy Poo lawyer talk. I'm one of them professional types, too. I can do double duty watching TV in the foyer at the same time.
The only thing Filch can claim to be a professional of is professional thief. Mr. Justice, of this court believe the witness was slacking off. That's correct. He claims to have been watching TV and the foyer at the same time. But that's nothing but a bald-faced lie. All you say, but I'm not the one who's lying. Perhaps you meant the witness, Mr. Justice. In that case, let's see what evidence you can offer. Claim Mr. Filch is lying about watching TV and the foyer simultaneously. Now prove it.
Take that!
Please take a look at the direction the TV is facing in this diagram. Now, unless Mr. Filch has eyes where his right ear should be, I'd think it would be impossible to watch the foyer entrance and the TV at the same time. Why, yes, somebody watching TV couldn't possibly see the entrance. Exactly, and that means, Mr. Filch, you were slacking off and were not watching the foyer as you claim.
Yipes. Bag's out of the cat. I mean it, the other way around.
Order, order, order. But Mr. Justice, is Mr. Filch's less than stellar worth ethic relevant to this case? It's very relevant, because while he was slacking off watching TV, there really could have been a Tenmataro impersonator in the foyer.
Objection!
What now? Granted, this Tanuki was lax in his duties, but he still had the foyer entrance covered. What are you talking about? this. I'm not a mind reader. Ah. Auditory sense. His eyes may have been slacking off, but his ears were still hard at work. Right, Tanuki?
They were? I mean, yes, they were.
But you already admitted to slacking off. Now you say you weren't?
My eyes might be lazy, but my ears ain't. I would have heard anyone in the foyer. You see, the foyer floor and stairway get all creaky and squeaky when someone walks on them. Creak, creak, creak. Loud enough to wake the dead, I reckon.
So, you're saying you didn't hear anybody walk by?
Yep, my ears are working full time. Who's the liar now, you no good shyster?
Lying thief calling me a shyster. This has to be the low point of my fledgling career.
Gotta hand it to you, Mr. Blackwell, sir. You really are something else. I mean, you don't miss a thing. And bags under your eyes, they're darker than mine.
Fair warning, Mr. Filch. Taka is particularly fond of Tanuki. Should you lie to this court again, you may suddenly find yourself on the menu.
Yipes. Please don't eat me, Mr. Taka, sir.
The witness will henceforth testify truthfully under penalty of painful bird attacks. And with that in mind, the court requests the witness revise his testimony accordingly. I like this bird. He helps me command respect and fear. More so than just threatening to send people to the nightmare dimension. Because people don't believe I can actually do it. Long have I waited for the day that I get this bird. I foresaw it 25 years ago, or even Mr. Wright was a lawyer.
It's true. I was watching the pro wrestling match on the office TV. My eyes might have been slacking off, but my ears, they were working overtime. Floor there's all creaky squeaky like. No way I would have missed someone walking by. Do you see, there weren't no Tenmataro in the foyer.
Superstition is the religion of feeble minds. Understand? A simple, rational explanation is best. Forget yokai, demons, and such. We must use common sense. Lacking that, our entire world would be but upside down. Says the convict prosecutor, who's totally a sign of the end times for the legal world.
And besides, if there were any yokai roaming around, I'd nab them and sell them in the zoo.
I wonder whether Jinxie was just seeing things.
That seems to be the general consensus, but I'm sticking to my guns.
But if we can't prove she saw Tenmataro, the mayor's sure to be convicted.
We'd better hope my guns fire bullets, not BBs. That's a good line. I like that line. Guns may cross-examine the witness.
It's true. I was watching a pro wrestling match on the office TV.
Hold it!
Were you watching with the sound off? You are paid for your work, aren't you? So how do you justify watching TV on the job?
I fucking hate this job. But it ain't easy being me. I mean, I can't watch TV when we have visitors, and there's no way to record stuff.
Sorry, am I supposed to be consoling you over your first world problems?
If those are his only problems, he should consider himself lucky.
Yes, pro wrestling's serious business to Mr. Filch. This bird shall become my eyes and ears. My eyes and ears when I'm not present. I shall know if anyone insults my intelligence. They won't know what hit them.
My eyes might have been slacking off, but my ears, they were working overtime.
Hold it!
You lied earlier about taking your guard duty seriously, didn't you?
Oh, that? Ain't no harm in bending the truth a little, right?
Man. The big fucking EP. Ah, man. And this is why I'm not streaming tomorrow night, because this will be the entire stream vibe, for the entire marathon, if I don't get, like, proper, like, extra sleep, I guess. Listen to me, Tanuki. I again, Taka, shall feast upon that forked tongue of yours.
Yipes. Sorry, just let me keep my tongue.
At least leave it until we get the truth out of him in any case. Man, okay, whenever we, like, I was thinking of a badass, like, quotes, just randomly, the other night, and, I was reminded of a quote from, Fire Emblem Echoes. There's a quote from Lucas talking to, I think his name is Fernand, Mr. Green Knight, who's a dick and is royalty and thinks of commoners as peasants. Where Lucas says something that Fernand doesn't like, and Fernand says something like, he says something along the lines of, I should cut out your tongue. And Lucas responds with, then you'd finally have the truth within your grasp. You were negligent in your duties, were you not?
Yes, sir, I was, sir. But it ain't like that. The floor there's all creaky squeaky like. No way I would have missed someone walking by.
Hold it!
So you have pretty good ears, Mr. Filch. Also, I've been wanting to use my 3DS capture card again soon, so maybe 3DS series coming soon, TM. I don't know what I would stream. If I decided to do another 3DS series, it would probably be, my best guess is either Fire Emblem Fates or Kid Icarus Uprising. Because I want to go back and play Kid Icarus Uprising. I adore that game, but I have not played that game since my sophomore year in high school, and I do not remember it very well. Man, will it have a 3D filter on the stream? Were you there for any of the Fire Emblem Awakening stuff, Banana? Because if you flip the 3D filter on, the capture will capture you turning it on, but due to the way that the 3D on the thing works, it'll just slide it. It'll like angle it left or right. It's really goofy looking. You can like wiggle the top screen image back and forth by messing with the slider. So you have pretty good ears, Mr. Filch.
As good as they come, I'd say. Ain't nothing to hear, or it ain't nothing to hear a creaky floor. Plus, that Tenmataro makes a sound when he goes by. It's like a jingle jangle.
Jingle jangle? How does he do that?
It's that staff is. That's what jingle jangles.
What's he talking about, Apollo?
Actually, thinking about it more, I might do Pokemon X on stream soon. I've been wanting to do another Pokemon game on stream. And I know that I need to go back and do the Scarlet and Violet DLC, but like, man, I want to play Gen 6 again. I haven't played Gen 6 since... genuinely don't remember when I last played Gen 6.
What's he talking about, Apollo?
Beats me, but I guess Tenmataro is a staff that makes noise.
Come to think of it, didn't Jinxie mention something like that too? She said she said she saw Tenmataro holding a staff-like object that made a jangly sound.
Guess that's the source of the noise then. Well, Mr. Justice, Mr. Filch says Tenmataro jingle jangles. Would you consider that vital information? Yes. Extremely vital. I request that it be added to his testimony. This is gonna be because he doesn't have the staff in the picture, right? Yeah.
If Tenmataro was to pass by, his staff would have gone jingle jangle.
Objection!
Tenmataro's staff would make a jangly sound, you say? Well, I'm going to say that your story doesn't add up. There's something the defense would like to share with the court. Mr. Filch, you say that you didn't see Tenmataro on the day of the incident. Why then did you assume just now that Tenmataro would have a staff? I assume is what that said. Would be holding a staff, yeah.
Huh?
You see, the Tenmataro Jinxie saw held a staff in its hands. And she described its sound just like you did, as a kind of jangly sound.
Yeah, so he's holding a staff. What's your point?
Objection!
The point is that Tenmataro doesn't use a staff, not normally.
What are you talking about?
You see, this is the only known document depicting Tenmataro. And is there a staff in that picture, Mr. Filch? Right, there's no staff. Not even a cane or a walking stick.
Ah,
Oh, the question is, why does the witness think Tenmataro uses a staff? I believe the answer will overturn the prosecution's case on the most basic level. Well now, this is getting interesting. Alright, Mr. Justice, it's time to show the court where you're going with this. Please tell the court why Mr. Filch believes Tenmataro carries a staff. Mr. Filch actually saw Tenmataro right after the crime occurred. I just realized I'm gonna have to get a wide shot of the courtroom for thumbnails for this, aren't I? If I want to keep it in line with the Apollo Justice and the with all of the previous ones, actually. I was gonna say Apollo Justice and original trilogy stuff, but I also have played the Great Ace Attorney, and I did that for those thumbnails as well. Mr. Filch actually saw Tenmataro right after the crime occurred. That's the only way he could possibly know about the staff.
busted again.
Bloody hell, you duplicitous little... I think I read that right. Yeah, cool. Yes, how'd that feel, Blackquill? Not so fun when you're on the receiving end of the blade, is it? Admit it, Mr. Filch. You did see Tenmataro that day, didn't you? Well?
I'm begging ya. Please don't make me say it.
But clearly you did see Tenmataro. Stop stalling and testify to that fact.
No can do. No way, no how. You ain't got no idea how terrifying he can be.
He? Mr. Filch still won't admit seeing Tenmataro, even though everyone knows he did. The question now is why?
Mr. Filch is scared to death.
Is that why he can't admit the truth?
Come to think of it. They say you must not gaze upon Tenmataro, but in the event that you do look, and then tell anyone what you saw, Tenmataro will claim your soul.
I can't do the highest bit of Jinxie's voice. I'm sorry.
Jinxie wouldn't admit to seeing Tenmataro after hearing about the village superstitions. She said that if she told anyone she'd seen Tenmataro, he'd claim her soul.
Wait, you think Filch believes that too?
The Mr. Big Time City Slicker lawyer has heard about him. Them old village superstitions.
Will the defense please explain what the witness is talking about? The people of Ninetales Vale believe some pretty strange things. And their superstitions may be the reason our witness here can't admit the truth. The truth that he really did see Tenmataro.
Darn straight, that's why. It's all right here.
Not gaze upon Tenmataro. Ignoring the superstitions will cost you your soul.
See? That's why us folk in Ninetales Vale can't talk about seeing Tenmataro.
That clears up one mystery. The killer took advantage of the superstitions by wearing a Tenmataro costume. They knew that way no one could talk about him, so it was as if he never existed. The defense holds that this Tenmataro impersonator is the true killer. What?
Objection!
Huh. Superstitions, you say? What kind of a fool would actually believe such rubbish? And would that using some silly fairy tale could so easily expose the culprit? You'll need to come up with a more rational, common sense explanation than that.
Objection!
Your common sense seems awfully narrow-minded to me, Prosecutor Blackquill.
Objection!
Try living in my world of narrow cells, mortal danger, and dark, sleepless nights. There's no lack of superstitions in the Clink, but few are those who truly believe in them.
Objection!
Well, the village superstitions are real enough to the people of Ninetales Vale. A life or death superstition might make even you a believer. Ugh. Ugh. I love that Prosecutor Blackquill's shocked expression is him getting slashed. Order, order, I say. You fool of a Tanuki. 2 times now your lies have cost me.
Sorry. I promise not to do it again.
Taka, my fine feathered friend. Have at him.
Yipes! He's gonna eat me alive! Head for the hills!
Ah, he took off. Hawk talons are sharp. Like, those things can tear into you. Bailiff, what are you waiting for? After him, and with your fastest men.
That's certainly not something you see every day.
Well, it would seem a new and important fact has come to light. Third-party disguised as the yokai Tenmataro was at the scene. Now we have 2 witnesses who can attest to that fact. Any objections, Prosecutor Blackquill? Uh-oh.
What?
Huh? Ah! His shackles. I'm too young to die. Justice, Dono. Long as it been since I've been forced to draw my blade. You had best say your prayers. Ah! Detective, do something! Ha 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 ha! Have no fear, Fulbright is here! When the going gets tough, the champion of justice gets going!
Objection!
Then get going already before he kills us! Oh, but I stand in awe of Simon Blackquill, for it is his sense of justice that set him free! Objection! Objection! I object to Detective Fulbright's definition of justice!
Silence.
I'm not in the habit of cutting down unarmed cowards. Oh, well, in that case, Prosecutor Blackwell, can I ask you to, you know... I think the judge forgot he's in charge here. So, Justice Dono's assertion is this. Tenmataro is the real killer, not Mayor Tenma. According to him, there was a yokai at the scene of the crime. Right. And that yokai, or rather, whoever was impersonating him, killed Alderman Kyubi. Why does he have a weapon at all? He doesn't. He can cut things with his mind. It's actually a funny point that he doesn't have a sword, because originally they were going to give him a sword, and they were like, nah, that's too outlandish even for Ace Attorney. Which is also especially funny, because a lot of those ideas... Now I really like you. You've made me feel something for the first time in thousands of years. It's really funny because whenever you end up with a, there's a lot of situations... Hey Yuki, how are you doing? There's a lot of situations that happen where, the Ace Attorney team comes up with an idea, and they're just like, nah, that would be too ridiculous. And then they shelve it, and then they pull it back out later. Because, for Godot in, Trials and Tribulations, Godot was originally supposed to be sipping a glass of whiskey instead of coffee. But they're like, that's a bit too, like, adult. And then... however many games later, it's like 6 or 7 or something, a lot of games later, a lot of games later, they introduced Barak von Zeeks in the Great Ace Attorney duology, who literally drinks wine in the middle of court. He also is very over the top because he boot slams the desk when he objects sometimes. But, they're like, we can't give Blackquill a sword because that would be kind of ridiculous. And then, you've got the Great Ace Attorney duology, where both Ryunosuke and Van Zeeks have swords, if I'm not mistaken. I think Van Zeeks has a normal sword. And then, you have the Layton crossover, which came out before this. I think you mean Phoenix, and no, Apollo is not Phoenix's son. Phoenix does have a daughter, though. She's a magician, and she's great. Right. And that yokai, or rather, whoever was impersonating him, killed Alderman Kyubi.
Silence.
Care to explain why Jinxie, being the first to discover the murder, did not see your alleged killer yokai there in the Fox Chamber? What? He's right. She said nothing about Tenmataro being in the Fox Chamber. Huh. Let me enlighten you. That little scamp heard a dying scream right before she opened the chamber door. And your point is? Upon opening the door, she found a freshly skewed murder victim. The Alderman. And the homicidal maniac who had killed him. The mayor. No, there must have been someone dressed up like Tenma. Then why does that little scamp not, claim to not have seen a yokai in the Fox Chamber? Considering her father is accused of murder, surely she would have mentioned any third party that might have been in the room. I don't understand. Why didn't she see Tenmataro inside the Fox Chamber? Huh. There's but one way to find out. Ask Jinxie Tenma whether she saw your killer yokai at the scene of the crime. Uh-oh. Final battle draws nigh. Only one of us will leave here alive. Long has my blade thirsted for blood. At long last it shall be sated. Wait, this is still a trial, right? Show me what you're truly capable of, Justice Dono. So I was wrong when we were talking about Black Quill, either last game or it was either last game or during the first case of this game. I said that Black Quill had an animation where he cuts Apollo's little hair horns. With that, no. No, I'm thinking of you know how Phoenix has the little cowlick now? He cuts that when he's in court against Phoenix. Very well then, both parties no doubt need some time to regroup. Court will take a 10-minute recess in order to... Ah! 3 minutes. I'm sorry, but... a 3-minute recess? Just so. Plenty of time if your destination of intent is the loo. Ooh, you mean the bathroom? Sheesh, at least include enough time to wash our hands. See that you take no more than 3 minutes. All latecomers will be punished. Yes, sir. I hereby declare a 3-minute recess before the battle begins.
I declare Prosecutor Blackquill the winner of this round of Simon Says.
Doesn't bode well for us if the prosecutor's running the show, does it?
He busted out of his shackles.
Yeah, what was that all about? They don't make shackles like they used to.
Better be careful, Apollo. You've really brought out the samurai in him. Especially after you proved there was a Tenmataro impersonator at the manor.
What's with that guy on the whole samurai act, anyway?
Phoenix, have you ever heard of the term weeaboo? He got really into anime. He got really into anime and it started, like, poisoning his brain.
Such fine swordsmanship. That is no mere act. Mr. Justice, it's high time I challenge this jailhouse prosecutor to a duel. No, wait. Let's save the dueling until after we prove your innocence. I suppose it could wait until later. Does anyone remember we're conducting a trial here? Athena, I'm gonna go wash up.
Remember what Blackquill said, Apollo. Don't be late. Go piss, girl.
Anime aren't just cartoons. They're a lifestyle. Have you ever heard of the Japanese director Kurosawa? I'm a big fan of his samurai films. I actually don't remember what his, like, is Kurosawa a... Okay, this is gonna sound really stupid considering I just made that joke. Kurosawa is a director, right? That's not like a genre, right? Kurosawa films are like saying, like, you know, fucking Michael Bay films or whatever. Bad example, but I think Kurosawa is like a director, right? It might be a style of film, and I just might be mistaken. Though at the same time, that also kind of adds to the joke, because Blackquill just doesn't know that it's not a person. Now then, I believe our next witness is Miss Jinxie Tenma, a maid at QB Manor. I believe we can proceed now, if the witness is ready, that is. Nurari-han? Nurari-hyan?
Nurari-hyan, that one. The leader of the 100 demons. He really does exist. Wow, that is one well-polished tray.
Witness will show her face all in court, or her testimony will be inadmissible. What is it, my child?
Be gone, Nurari-hyan, leader of the 100 demons.
Oh! I'm a yokai. I was once known as a judicial monster of sorts. Beast of the bar, the demon of due process, if you will. That bar is not referring to the bar exam. That bar is referring to the old bar that me and my friends went to. It doesn't exist anymore. Well, due to a stint we had there. Oh, sad. I hope that that bar is doing well there. Doing well in the nightmare dimension. The first and only time I allowed myself to get fully drunk.
My charm has no effect. The demon of due process? I am not sure I could see that one.
Now, you little scamp.
Yes?
I trust you know why you're here. You're the first person who actually recognized me. Now, the judge would be like, I'm surprised that you can see through my illusions. I like you as well. You can spread the word. Lead people to fear me more. Man, this has got to be the most, like... this has got to be the most, like, off-the-cuff we've ever been with an Ace Attorney game. I trust you know why you're here.
Bags.
Bags? Oh, that tricksy Tanuki. Try the noodle stand. And go enjoy a big bowl of Tanuki tail noodles while you're at it. Everyone's a comedian.
No, I meant your bags. The ones under your eyes. You must have trouble sleeping. Here, this charm will keep Azuki-arai away.
Azuki-arai, the yokai that washes Azuki beans. And the only thing needing washing will be your father's neck before I take his head clean off.
Azuki-arai often keeps people awake at night with the noise it makes washing beans. But if you stick this charm on your forehead, you won't hear him anymore.
Is that so? Well, thank you.
It looks like Prosecutor Blackquill got more than he bargained for.
You're bad enough alone, but together those two are just plain creepy. I like that Blackquill accepted that. Your testimony, if you please, Miss Tenma. Specifically, whether or not you saw Tenma Taro when you discovered the crime scene. I really like Jinxie's outfit. It's super cute.
Did I see Tenma Taro in the Fox Chamber? Well, when I opened the door, I saw... Yes, now I remember. Yokai, right there in that room.
So there was a yokai at the scene of the crime.
Lots and lots of them.
Wait, more than one yokai? Did Tenmataro happen to be among them?
I don't know. I just don't know. All I know is the room was swimming in yokai. Kasha, Nurikabe, Seto Taisho. They were all there.
Well, this is an unexpected turn of events. Gone from no yokai to a flood of them. This is ludicrous. You would have this court listen to this delusional little scamp's testimony.
Hold it! Your Honor, I believe her memory is simply clouded by fear. But a quick therapy session should ease her mind. With the court's permission, of course.
What a fabulous idea. Please proceed, Miss Sykes. You sure you know what you're doing, Athena?
She's obviously not herself. The trauma of discovering that crime scene and fear of testifying have her dazed and confused. A regular ball of confusion. But my analytical psychology-based approach should be able to help.
Any objections, Prosecutor Blackwell? We let Miss Sykes proceed. Huh. It makes no difference to me. Do as you will, but I doubt we shall get any viable testimony. Be better served by bearing witness to the sword skills I forged in a distant land.
I'll show you.
Mood Matrix!
Did I see Tenmataro in the fox chamber? Well, when I opened the door, I saw... Yes, now I remember. Yokai right there in that room. I found something. It looks like an out-of-control emotion.
Athena, what exactly are we looking at here? What animal do you think Blackwell's persona would be?
Oh, this? It's one of Widget's functions. Right here you can see images and emotions extracted from the witness's voice.
Whoa, you mean that little thing can do all this?
Pretty cool, huh?
Here I thought it was just some kid's toy.
Unfortunately, all I'm getting is an overflow error right now. And see how sad is brightly lit there at the bottom left? She's under an uncontrollable amount of distress, which is masking her other emotions.
Man, I really like the Mood Matrix music. I am Mood Matrix's biggest defender. I love this mechanic.
It seems the sheer terror she experienced has made her a confused mess.
So, all those yokai she thinks she saw were a product of rampant emotions?
Yes, that's right. Her fear is instilled in her hallucinations and false memories. She's seeing normal everyday objects as monsters in her mind. It's a form of schizophrenic hallucination brought on by emotional trauma. And the trauma in Jinxie's case is fear.
So she was, and still is, seeing ordinary objects as yokai.
We'll have to find the root cause of her extreme fear before I can treat it. Now, let's see. Apollo, can you point out the yokai on the Wheel of Fire? She seems particularly terrified of that one. And start by pressing probe. Next, point to what's causing Jinxie's out-of-control emotion. Finally, hit X and try to get to the heart of the matter.
Okay, let's give this a try. Athena's great. just wanna... Okay, this is gonna show how, like, uneducated I am with regards to, like, yokai as a whole. Like, 99% of my knowledge of yokai comes from Okami and Shin Megami Tensei. I am not well versed in yokai, but when I'm looking at the wall over here, it just reminded me of the big walls that you have to, like, touch the pressure points on in Okami. Man, I gotta go back and stream Okami again. I streamed one episode of it and then I gave up on it. It's one of the very few series that I actually canceled.
Got it!
Jinxie, what's the name for that yokai on the Wheel of Fire?
That's Akasha, a yokai that steals the bodies of the recently deceased. I bet it came to steal the aldermans.
It's almost creepy how well that fits the actual situation.
Exactly. It's a form of hallucination where the patient can't see things for what they really are. And there must be something at the scene of the crime that she's mistaking for Akasha. Apollo, you need to point out what it is that she thought was a yokai on a Wheel of Fire.
I think I know the answer now. Jinxie, that wasn't Akasha you saw. Could you have possibly mistaken this for Akasha? Is either gonna be the chandelier or the door?
Take that!
The light fixture?
This one right here. It has a flame design and is up there on the ceiling. There was never a yokai on a Wheel of Fire. The Kasha you saw was just a light fixture.
That's one memory back to normal. Nice job. Now that you've got the hang of it, it should be a cinch to point out the rest.
Jinxie, what about the white wall-like monster? Also, give me a sec. I'm gonna hit you with a quick BRB. It'll just be a sec. Whoops. I forgot to press the, Jinxie is getting a free therapy session in this economy? Yeah. I need more dancing gifts to go in the BRB screen. Jinxie, what about this white wall-like monster?
That's Narikabe. It's a wall monster that blocks your way or leads you astray.
That's no yokai, Jinxie. It's a folding screen. And this raccoon dog isn't a tanuki monster. It's just the statue of one. And look, these are just coffee cups. And this right here, it's nothing more than a fox statue.
I don't know what I was thinking.
You cracked the tray.
You did it, Apollo. Her extreme fear is under control now. It was all just my eyes playing tricks on me. They weren't any yokai after all, or there weren't any yokai. I see. A clear-cut statement. That's the power of my psychology and your intuition, Apollo. And just like we thought, there never really were any yokai in the Fox Chamber.
Right. There never really were any yokai there. Defense is asserting the exact opposite of their original assertion. Wait, Jinxie? What about Tenmataro?
There wasn't anyone there dressed up as Tenmataro, or any other yokai either. I remember it clearly now.
You've
Gotta be joking!
Order in the court. I think we just dug our own grave. Allow me to push you on in. It's the least I could do.
No! Apollo, can I interrupt your freakout for just a minute? I'm still picking up some noise. It's an unexpected emotion.
I mean, Jinxie hasn't remembered everything yet. How did she manage to uncrack that plate?
Exactly. We should be able to get something else out of her. I'll enter the new information we have and run an update. Did I see Tenmataro in the Fox Chamber? I was so scared when I entered the room. My legs gave out and I fell to the floor. There in the Fox Chamber, I saw the alderman dead on a table, and Papa collapsed in a chair. Nobody else was there, and that includes Tenmataro.
So scared when I oh, like, so did I see Tenmataro in the Fox Chamber? So scared when I entered the room. My legs gave out and I fell to the floor. There in the Fox Chamber, I saw the alderman dead on a table and Papa collapsed in a chair. Nobody else was there, and that includes Tenmataro. Wait, what am I supposed to do?
Try to find the emotions that contradict her statements.
So if I find a contradictory emotion, I should just point it out?
That's right, but it's not just contradictory emotions you should look out for. You should also keep an eye out for sudden changes in an emotion's intensity. Her emotions might get stronger or weaker as you move from statement to statement. It's important to compare how the same emotion changes throughout the testimony.
Contradictory emotions and changes in intensity. Okay, I'll give it a shot. Oh, oops. So, very scared, little surprised. Very surprised, very scared. Little scared.
Got it!
The amount of fear you felt is rather low, despite your legs having given out from fright. Could something have lessened your fear?
Actually, I did experience a sudden burst of courage at that moment.
You did? Where did it come from?
Let me think. Oh, it was Mama. I suddenly felt as if she was there with me. Okay, I'll enter sudden burst of courage. Now let's see. Ah, look. Apollo, the noise is all gone. Jinxie seems to have remembered everything now.
A sudden burst of courage. Now, where could that have come from? Jinxie, was there something that gave you a sudden burst of courage?
Yes, there was. But, I realized I had done something naughty when I thought about it later. Any idea what could have given Jinxie that courage?
Well, there is one piece of evidence that comes to mind. Wonder if she saw something like it at the scene of the crime. Jinxie, did your sudden burst of courage have anything to do with this?
Take that!
Jinxie, you didn't happen to see a Ninetales flower there at the scene, did you?
The demon layer strikes again. I can't hide anything from you. I found a small case with a picture of a Ninetales flower on it. I liked it so much that I kept it.
You what? You can't remove evidence from a crime scene. That's right, young lady. Removing evidence is a big no-no. Now, the witness will produce said evidence this instant.
Sorry.
Does seem to be some sort of case. Oh, look, something slid out. Appears to be a key. Might I have a look, your baldness? Ah. This is none other than the master key to QB Manor. Are you certain of this, Prosecutor Blackwell? It matches the serial number of the key that went missing after the murder. A master key? Went missing? Why don't I like the sound of that? Our little scamp here stumbled upon an article of unimaginable consequence. That's a little melodramatic, don't you think? Huh. Heed these words, for I shall say them but once. The sole key to the Fox Chamber has been in this little scamp's constant possession. Ergo, she was the sole person who could use it before, during, and after the murder. Which leaves the master key as the only other key that could have opened the chamber. What, this master key was found in a room that had been locked by this girl. And your point is? Until Jinxie Tenma opened the Fox Chamber with her key, the room had been locked tight from the outside world. There was no one else in there save the victim and his killer. I trust you've figured it out for yourself by now. A killer other than Mayor Tenma himself would be utterly inconceivable. No!
Objection!
How could this happen?
The defense's assistant will refrain from growling her frustrations. Athena, are you alright?
I know Mayor Tenma's innocent, but there's nothing we can do.
This sucks. Sykes, Dono. Allow me to put you out of your misery.
Can I decline your offer?
Abandon your client and your misplaced faith in him. Let the relief of a clear head and a clean conscience come running in. That will make the inevitable guilty verdict far easier to accept.
Great, now he's playing Simon Says with us. Well, he's not going to fool us with his stupid mind games. Athena, don't fall for his tricks. Now I'm the one who's dazed and confused. I can't even think straight. Hey, are you alright? She fell right into his trap.
Now, I suggest you make a mad dash from the courtroom and into the wild blue yonder. Only by running shall your mind be cleared and your conscience cleansed.
Objection!
Alright, I'll be back in 10.
Stay with me, Athena. Don't let yourself be twisted by that samurai.
Apollo?
Mr. Justice, I heard the word objection, but what is it you object to? Huh? Oh, right. That objection was more of a reflex than anything else. Though I was hoping something would come to me. This is a prequel to the previous trial, by the way, Banana. I was hoping something would come to me once I was while I was trying to stop Athena. The court is waiting, Mr. Justice. Though as it stands now, I'll be forced to declare your client guilty and your legal skills suspect, if this is it. Now, do you have anything that could overturn the prosecution's case? Well, actually, I do. I'm Apollo Justice, and I'm fine.
Apollo, you do have something more than your cords of steel, don't you?
Not really, but we'll be fine.
But...
Got absolutely nothing. But that's never stopped me before. A truer statement has never been uttered. I have to explain how the real killer could have escaped that locked room. Because it's all over if I don't.
Apollo, this calls for a new approach. Try to think outside the box.
Or in this case, inside the box. What a doozy that locked room is, too. Well, Mr. Justice, have anything that can counter the prosecution's argument? You bet I do. The real killer must have escaped from the locked room, one way or another. Vague conjecture shall only earn you a taste of my blade, Justice Dono. Wow. Wow, that was a voice crack. Time to do or die, literally. The defense will now explain how it would be possible to escape the locked room.
You sure about this, Apollo? Can you really explain what happened?
I'm fine. We just need to think this whole escaping a locked room thing over from the beginning. So, let's see. The killer had escaped. How could they have done so?
The choices are pretty limited. The room has a window, but... it doesn't open wide enough for anyone to get through. And there's a sheer cliff outside. As for the air vent... it's up too high, and there's nothing you could stand on to reach it. And needless to say... the Forbidden Chamber wouldn't open no matter what we did, so that's out.
Yeah, that's why we gotta keep the solution simple. Like they say, simple is best. You need to rule out all of the absolutely impossible escape routes. Then whatever's left just might lead us to how the Fox Chamber was compromised. Your Honor, the defense proposes that the killer escaped through here. The front door?
Take that!
Hallway door? Well, yes, I suppose that would be the only way out. Huh. It would appear you've already forgotten. This isn't... Okay, I don't know if I'm definitely multiple steps ahead currently. This isn't even a locked room puzzle. Because knowing that the key was in the room in the first place, like, all it takes is 2 trips. If the door was locked when it started, the killer drugged their tea while it was being, like, before it was served to them. They drop in through the vent because you can get into the vent from floor level. So you get into the vent and drop down, do your little murder spree and assault. you grab the master key, you use the master key to open the door and then lock it as you come through, and then you go up through the vent again and drop the master key back into the room to create the illusion of a locked room puzzle. The only available key until Jinxie Tenma came on scene was within that locked room. How would one exit the Fox Chamber and then lock it without a key? I should have seen this coming.
Remember, Apollo, keep it simple.
Simple, right. I can understand if the killer had exited the room with the key, but... Well, Mr. Justice, the prosecution has some fine Japanese steel waiting unless you explain yourself quickly. I'm fine. I can explain myself. The reason the Fox Chamber's hallway door was locked was because... Perp locked it from the outside. What if the room was locked from the outside? In other words, the killer took the key through the hallway door, then locked it. Youch! Consider this. The master key was found inside the tightly locked Fox Chamber. Any assertion that the key was removed from that room is a blatant contradiction of fact.
Exiting the room before locking the door would require taking the key outside. But the key was found inside the room, which does seem like a contradiction.
Only we could explain both. Like how the key could be inside the room and be used to lock the door from the outside. Well, let's see if the defense can respond before Prosecutor Blackwell draws his sword. How could the master key be at the crime scene, despite the room being locked? Or locked tight? Threw it in from the outside. What if someone threw it into the room from outside? You know, something like... Go out the hallway door, lock the room, then toss the key back in through the window? That would explain how the master key could be inside the locked room. And where would you throw it from? There's a cliff outside the Fox Chamber's window. Throwing the key in from there is an impossibility. Oh, right. Ugh.
I wonder if the key could have been tossed in from somewhere other than that window.
Somewhere other than the window. Could the key have been tossed in through somewhere other than the window?
Take that!
The air vent? Yes. The window may be out of the question, but the air vent's not.
Oh, that's right. The Fox Chamber's air duct leads out into the hallway.
That's right. The real killer entered the air duct from the vent outside the Fox Chamber. Then dropped the key into the room through the vent out or inside the chamber. That's preposterous.
Oh, that explains how the key got in there after it was used to lock the door perfectly.
It's exactly as I said. I was 2 steps ahead of the game. Mr. Justice, I'm afraid I'm a bit confused. Don't worry. I'll explain so even your honor can understand. First, the real killer disguised as Tenma Taro murdered the alderman in the Fox Chamber. Then they fled the room through the hallway door and locked it. Next, they entered the air duct from the vent outside the hallway. Inside the hallway. Finally, the killer tossed the key into the room through the air vent in the ceiling there. All that was left to do after that was go back through the duct and flee the manor. Well, Your Honor, could that be any clearer? Amazing. Even I could follow that.
The judge seems really pleased.
That explains everything. The real killer was someone dressed up like Tenma Taro. And there was someone else other than the mayor and the alderman in that room. Hey, it looks like that lawyer's beating the jailbird prosecutor. Oh, that was a total turnabout.
That massive forehead of his seems so much more attractive now.
Order, order, I say. Now that I've proved a possible third party, I don't see how our client could be guilty.
Silence.
A valiant effort, Justice Dono. But your final thrust missed its mark. Huh? Both that little scamp, the tricksy Tanuki, saw the yokai after it left the room. But then what? Did that irksome yokai simply go through the foyer and waltz out right out the front door? That's exactly what happened. The killer fled from the... Ouch! But that is impossible. Without being spotted by the foyer's security camera, that is. There is very clearly a blind spot there, Mr. Blackquill, sir. You know, I was gonna make a joke about I was gonna call Blackquill Daddy Blackquill. But there's actually a point where Phoenix calls Edgeworth Daddy in a later trial, so the electric eye here would have captured any pesky little yokai trying to escape. If you've seen that meme, the one that's Phoenix and Edgeworth, and Edgeworth is just like the only thing, or it's like the only thing flimsy here is your logic or some shit. If classic Edgeworth line. Also, Trucy. The Phoenix calling Edgeworth Daddy is a real screenshot. However, there's no sign of Tenmataro anywhere in the security footage. The child... What? Save for the foyer entrance, is there no other way to flee the... there's no other way to flee the manor, is there? I don't feel so good.
Wait, I believe there is another way to escape besides the foyer entrance. There's a large window in the foyer. It's impossible to escape through there without... and it's possible to escape through there without being seen by the security camera.
Hey, you're right.
Silence.
Huh. Must I point out every crucial detail to the defense? It seems you lack not only brains, but investigative prowess to boot. We don't have logic. Edgeworth is the only one that has logic. That is the cliffside of the manor. The only killer escaping that way would be a dead one.
None.
So wait, the killer didn't escape out the foyer window.
What the heck, right?
Ha! I suppose your next proposal is the killer sprouted wings and flew off into the sunset. That would mean the killer really was a yokai.
If only we had some sort of evidence that could point to a flying killer.
Who's saying we don't? As completely far-fetched as it might be.
What? You're saying we can prove that the killer could fly?
Caca, motherfucker. Whoa, I thought I was the one with the cords of steel. Oh, I can't wait to hear this. Your Honor? What evidence do you have that the killer flew away?
Take that.
Take a look at this special edition newspaper. Tenmataro, real or flight of fancy? What is the... whoops. Tenmataro, real or flight of fancy? That was my Apollo Justice impression. What did y'all think of it? I would prefer if you didn't impersonate me, Your Honor, but that was a pretty good impression of me. What does this article prove, Mr. Justice? The photo in that article was taken shortly after the murder. Maybe the yokai in that photo is the killer shortly after they fled out the window? Mr. Justice, you're not seriously suggesting... Oh, I'm serious. I mean, it all adds up. The killer disguised as Tenmataro flew away. You know, by some way or another.
Silence.
It is your brain that has flown the coop. That image is naught but trick photography, or some other form of artifice. Okay then, how about the Tenmataro Mr. Filch saw? It just vanished into thin air? No. There's a rational, common-sense explanation for that. That infernal yokai our Trixie Tanuki witnessed never reached the entrance. He, or should I say she, turned back before the camera's electric eye. She? I don't like where this is going one bit. Now, the fact that we know the yokai had come from the Fox Chamber means that it was likely either Mayor Damien Tenma or his daughter, Jinxie Tenma. However, we know that Mayor Tenma was already unconscious at the time. Not good. Not good at all. Do you understand the gravity of the situation now, Justice Dono? The falsified yokai remnants. And the appearance of Tenmataro were the work of one individual. And that individual is none other than Jinxie Tenma. Why have we not called Florent LaBelle to the scene? Ah! No! Order! Order! Friends will stop competing for the greatest freakout ever. The little scamp was, no doubt, simply trying to protect her father. It's no wonder that her superstitious mind conjured up this mad masquerade. Prosecutor Blackwell's assertion makes perfect sense to me, because I lack critical thinking skills. It's far more convincing than saying the killer escaped by flying out the window. Okay, but... I know we're gonna dismantle this argument. I know. It still annoys me. Huh. Truly believe this could end any other way. We fall right into his trap? If Jinxie murdered Mr. Dude, why would she make, like, why would she call the police? I may be omnipresent, but meaner-like thinking makes head hurty. We fall right into his trap?
What do we do now, Apollo?
Case no longer stands without a real yokai. Only we had one. Bailiff, seize her. It's time I interrogated her as the samurai of yore would. Mayor Tenma? Huh. This farce is over. How does it feel seeing your own daughter accused of a cover-up most foul? Tenmataro's true identity is... Now, Mr. Mayor. It would be futile at this point to claim you were the yokai. After all, you'd been knocked out cold by a blow to the skull. It's Slipping into a yokai costume and roaming around or about the manor would be all but impossible. Consider this well. As it stands, your daughter will be arrested for obstruction of justice. Ace Attorney. Ace Attorney, I love you. Thank you, the real Madame Guard, for following. That is a fantastic username. I appreciate it a lot. You can't talk about being arrested for Halo, dude. Yeah. Man, that case is so good. What have you confess? The prosecution would be willing to overlook her little yokai farce. Yes, the defendant intends to confess. I heard the word confess. It activated my neuron. Singular. Wait.
Apollo, Prosecutor Blackquill's up to his mind games again.
Mayor Tenma, no, don't fall for his twisted words. If you're sent away for murder, Jinxie will be left all alone. The real killer is...
Mayor Tenma's gonna confess unless we do something.
But I can't prove how the real killer would have flown away. Ka. Look upon me in despair, or ripe is the time of my return. Uh-oh. I should watch what I wish for. Judge's brain is just one single neuron. Ka. Foolish mortals. I am Tenma Taro, the yokai you seek. Mayor Tenma? Silence. I am Tenma Taro, freed from the bonds binding me to the Forbidden Chamber. Behold, the return of the Demon King. What the?
Demon King?
Well then, I think it's time for me to take a vacation. That Mayor Dude went full on bald eagle mode. Yeah, I absolutely did. The witness will, he will explain himself. The funniest thing is that if you want to, like, if you take this as him not, if you take this as an actual demonic possession, this is like the third time that, demonic possession has happened in an Ace Attorney case. The witness will explain himself. Are you saying you're Tenma Taro, the yokai we've been chasing this whole time? Indeed. It is I, Tenma Taro, the one whom you seek, come to reveal the truth. This child is Tenma Taro, you say? Ah, what nonsense. So, Mayor Tenma is a yokai now? Ka. His body is now mine. So you're saying that Mayor Tenma is being possessed by you? And that the yokai that Jinxie Tenma and Phineas Filch saw? And that one captured in the newspaper photo? Those were all you. The accursed power of these warding charms prevents me from revealing my true form. Just hard cut. Man, it's been so long since I played Ace Attorney 2. I don't even remember what I did for Madame Guard's voice. Your baldness. Can this not be interpreted as an admission of guilt? Well, a confession by a yokai would be quite unprecedented. Apollo and Athena are just thinking this is a bit much even for me, yeah. Be that as it may, Fence's case has been overturned.
Huh? What?
You claimed that yokai, that little scamp saw, was some third party. The true killer. The one who escaped from the locked fox chamber. But it was the accused all along.
Ah.
Ironic, isn't it? Or is it not? Your yokai turned out to be real, in a manner of speaking. For the alderman's killer is none other than Mayor Tenma. And the yokai at the scene? That too was Mayor Tenma. Or should I say our dear Tenma Taro. Pieces have all fallen into place. How so, Prosecutor Blackwell? It seems I must spell it out for you. Mayor Tenma killed the alderman in the fox chamber, which was locked at the time. Man, Blackwell's voice is hard. He then removed the warding charms from the Forbidden Chamber's door, but then fell unconscious from the blow the alderman had delivered to his head. Most people would go for a stereotypical surfer dude for Madden Guard. Yeah, that's fair. That's when his daughter, Jinxie Tenma, stumbled upon the scene of the crime. The little scamp fled in terror, whereupon the spirit of Tenma Taro, freed at last from the charm's warding effect, took possession of the mayor. Newly freed Tenma Taro then fled from the fox chamber. You see, the yokai Jinxie Tenma saw was her father possessed by Tenma Taro.
Objection!
But when we arrived on the scene, the mayor was found unconscious. How is that possible if he was supposed to have flown out the foyer window? Then what? Do you mean to say the maid of Kyubi Manor, Jinxie Tenma, was Tenma Taro? Oh. Ka. That too is easily explained. Flew about for a time, I did. Presently tired, I made for the Forbidden Chamber. But alas, exhaustion took me unawares in the Fox Chamber, and I knew no more. Blackwell really hates the mayor, doesn't he? Huh. It would seem the pieces are in place. Is Blackwell up to his tricks again? I don't know what to say. Been into real life. The rumor about Mayor Tenma is true? I knew yokai were real. You mean he really did kill the alderman? Just so he could release Tenma Taro? Order.
Now he's got everyone in the courtroom believing in yokai.
Simon Says on steroids. Wants to convict our client any way he can, even if it means blaming a yokai. The proverbial ducks are all in a row. You should now have no qualms about finding the accused guilty, your baldness. One of the most bizarre cases in my entire career. Otherworldly, in fact. Can yokai even be prosecuted under our legal system?
Objection!
Mayor Tenma is just pretending to be Tenma Taro to protect his daughter. Plus, I already proved how a third party could have escaped from the locked room. A verdict at this point would be premature. Both sides have raised valid points. I have no choice but to.
Silence!
This is the dark age of the law, where defense attorneys are not to be trusted. This is but a ploy to gain time for them to fabricate evidence. How will I sleep tonight? Knowing you will not let the sun rise on the mayor's day of reckoning, Justice Dono.
Objection!
I won't fabricate any evidence.
Silence!
And prove it by joining me. Join the dark side, Apollo. We have cookies. They're oatmeal raisin. A night in the clink will ensure you will not succumb to temptation. How about I just promise to not succumb to anything? Man. I should start doing, like, breathing exercises. Kind of like you do with, like, for, like, band. And choir. Because, like, I've got pretty good, like, endurance, all things considered. But, like, man. I'm starting to get the tingles in my arms from not breathing enough. No, you monster! Oatmeal raisin are the worst! We have both evidence and a confession. The killer is this yokai before us. It is beyond dispute. Okay, Mr. Blackquill, if you insist that the yokai did it, then Mayor Tenma himself... Guilty verdict is all but... Ugh. What's wrong with him? Prosecutor Blackquill, we've had enough of your hijinks. The foundation of justice is fair play, and you're in serious violation of that. What in the devil was that? Foolbright, you tampered with my shackles in some manner. Ha 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 ha! It seems you found that quite shocking. I'm waiting for... that... I was gonna wait, but like... that feels like something Banana would say in chat. That feels like the kind of pun that Banana would make. It's my special Jolt of Justice device. Each press is a shocking reminder to behave. You shall pay for this. I, Simon Blackquill, will... Ugh! Your Honor, you need not fear now. I believe Prosecutor Blackquill will remain on his best behavior. Bit late with the reassurances, aren't we, Detective? Oh, in that case... Find it shocking Fulbright said it before you. This concludes today's deliberations. The prosecution and defense will use this opportunity to further their investigations. This court is adjourned. God, this game is gonna take so fucking long to get through if this is the pace we're going at. There's 6 cases in this game, by the way. This isn't a 5-case game. This is a 6-case game. Actually, fun fact, this game and Spirit of Justice are both 6-case games. You getting some extra Ace Attorney.
Having a yokai testify in court is unprecedented, to say the least.
I am Tenma Taro, the yokai you seek. How could such a straight-laced man like Mr. Tenma suddenly become a demon?
Yeah, it's strange. Even worse, Prosecutor Blackquill is playing along. I can't even think straight anymore. I need to go meet up with Jinxie. I need to go out for a run. See you in a bit.
Wait, what about the investigation?
I'm back. Whoa, Trucy, welcome back. Oh, you're in your stage outfit. Back from work?
She's always in her stage outfit.
Yeah, I really nailed this new magic trick I've been working on. I also heard about those tricks that were conjured up in court earlier today. You know, the demon out of nowhere trick, and Polly's tightrope style defense trick.
I was seriously considering a disappearing act of my own after all that craziness. Anyway, our next trick is to find a suspect other than the mayor. Child spotted. I know the killer must have used the air duct in their escape.
And whoever did that was the Tenmataro that Mr. Filch and Jinxie saw.
Right, maybe there's some evidence in the air duct.
The real fight starts now. Hey, before you go, let me make the evidence you no longer need disappear. 3, 2, 1, ta-da!
Unnecessary evidence has disappeared into Trucy's magic panties. Cool. Wonder where all that stuff goes.
To a pawn shop.
We love Trucy in this household. We love all of the sequel trilogy characters. They're all great.
Okay, let's get over to the scene of the crime. Vamonos, Apollo, vamonos.
I gotta say, as much as I do really love Athena, and I would hate to see Athena sidelined any more than she gets in the rest of the series. I do genuinely really miss Trucy being Apollo's assistant. I don't know if it happens more in the later cases, but like, man, Trucy's just fun. I like Trucy a lot.
Detective Fulbright, mind if we search the air duct?
Well, since you really are on the side of justice, I suppose I can let you. Plus, my own sense of justice has been called into doubt, so...
I wonder if he's been like this ever since the trial.
Well, his sense of justice has been beaten to a pulp. It'll probably take a while for him to recover.
I sort of feel bad for him, but we have work to do. Let's go get the evidence we need.
Air duct is the key. I know the Tenmataro impersonator used it to make an escape. After murdering the alderman, the killer left the fox chamber through the hallway door. Then, after locking the door from the outside, the killer entered the air duct in the hallway. Finally, the killer dropped the key into the fox chamber through the air vent here. Then we went back through the duct and fled the manor. Or, he went through the duct. Or then went back through the duct and fled the manor. Well, that's how the illusion of no one entering or leaving the locked room was created.
If the killer passed through the air duct, maybe we'll find some evidence there.
Yeah, maybe some black feathers or something like that. Well, here's our vent. It's awfully high up.
Don't worry, I brought a stepladder. Happy hunting.
How nice of her to volunteer me for the job. Oh, it's pitch black in here. Well, here goes nothing. There's a thick layer of dust in here. I don't get it.
Find anything? Yikes, Apollo, what happened? You're covered in dust.
Yeah, dust. Lots of dust.
So, what'd you find?
You know how dust collects on something when nobody uses it for a long time?
Yeah, like Mr. Wright's... Yeah, like Mr. Wright's desk back at the office.
Right. You'd think it'd be possible to crawl over that sort of dust without leaving a trail?
I I seriously doubt it. Wait, you're not suggesting... No one's gone through that duct lately.
Kinda looks that way. And if it's true, Mayor Tenma's going to be fingered as the killer.
But...
We don't turn things around quickly. In justice we trust, Is. Sorry, Mr. Justice. But it seems your justice was not the most just after all. It is my sense of justice that has prevailed.
Detective Fulbright sure seems chipper all of a sudden.
And I'm back to my old devastated self. Aw, come on! Where's that never say die spirit? Bring it on, Mr. Lawyer Man! Bring it on! Let me suffer in peace. Ha 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 ha! Justice prevails once more.
It's not over yet, and besides... Kicking someone when they're down is what bad guys do.
Are you calling me a bad guy? Me, Bobby Fulbright, champion of justice.
Then how about some information on the investigation? We really need some help here.
Information about the investigation? Alright, but I won't have you calling me a bad guy ever again. Understood?
We did it, Apollo.
Yeah, but how long can we keep this up? Booby Fulbright. I mean, look at his massive titties. Hey, Detective Fulbright. Did you know that I'm a lawyer? So this is my attorney's badge. No, no, no. Presented with more confidence and conviction. Like this. In justice we trust, Is. Okay, how's this? Apollo Justice, attorney at law. Here comes justice. That was amazing. Well, do you know what they say? Practice makes perfect. Let's see you do it 10 more times. Okay, I'll try my best.
Apollo, what are you doing? We've already had this conversation before.
How'd he talk me into this? I just realized Athena and Trucy are like within 2 years of each other, aren't they? 16 and 18, yeah. Wow. Trucy's very young. Like, I guess it makes sense, but like... Huh. I wonder how old she is in Spirit of Justice. 45, 46, question mark. Black Quill is 28? Actually, I guess that tracks. I was about to say, I'm pretty sure that Phoenix is 24 at the start of the trilogy, but I guess that's a year for each, I guess that's a year for each game, and then the 7-year time skip after Apollo Justice. That makes sense. Bobby is 33?
I can't believe Prosecutor Blackquill would stoop that low. I mean, to pinning the blame on a yokai? He really wants a conviction at all costs.
You give a yokai a run for its money when she's mad. Yes, well... I have him writing a self-reflective essay as we speak.
I doubt that'll teach him anything.
Yeah, he'll probably just write "daughter" 1,000 times. That whole yokai business is most likely a ploy to win a conviction. Truth is, Prosecutor Blackwell believes Jinxie Tenma planted that yokai stuff. Planted it in an effort to protect her father, the real killer.
Yeah, right. I'd like to see him prove it.
Whoa, calm down. He doesn't have any direct evidence, but we did find this. It was at the base of the cliff, just outside Kyubei Manor. Wait, isn't that the staff Tenmatara was supposedly carrying? Or, that isn't the staff Tenmatara was supposedly carrying, was it? The one and only. Miss Tenma no doubt tossed it over the cliff when she was done. Oh, words. How scary. Bloody police thwarting my every move. Oh no, what was it? Were you working on like a project and you hadn't saved in a bit? Because that sucks. I've had that happen once and I am paranoid about it ever since. I had it happen. I was I used to know how to restore pictures in Photoshop, but I don't remember how to do it anymore. I haven't used Photoshop in years. I haven't used Photoshop since like freshman or maybe sophomore year of high school. Nah, instead I use Clip Studio Paint for all my thumbnail needs. It's just a better program. It's better Photoshop. Miss Tenma no doubt tossed it over the cliff when she was done.
No way. Well, what about Prince?
Nope, no Prince. But if she was wearing a costume, there wouldn't be any anyway. Just waiting for your PC to boot up and getting pissed at the router for not working. I'm getting pissed at Windows Update. Oof. You see, I'm both I'm sad for you because like damn that sucks, but at the same time I'm happy for you in the fact that it wasn't working on like drawing or video editing or some shit like that, or working on like code. Also, speaking of code, I don't think I'm gonna meet my I don't think I'm gonna meet the deadline for the game jam. I don't care. Like, here's the thing. I don't fully like, I'm not gonna beat myself up over missing the deadline. Like, that's fine. The big thing is that like I'm glad, like, even if I don't actually submit a finished project to the game jam, I am glad that I made an attempt. And I will be making more attempts in the future because it's forced me to learn like code again. Cuz you know, I've been working on my own game for a while, but I haven't touched the code of that in forever. Plus, I'm sure that if I went back to it now, I could probably pick it apart and be like, man, I did this very, very poorly. Power cut when Mayor Tenma was about to explain how he flew out the window but was found unconscious in the Fox chamber. We didn't get an explanation for that. Well, Prince or no Prince, it's not gonna work in our favor. Sounds like the staff might have belonged to the mansion. That's the case. Where in the mansion did Tenmataro get it from? You didn't really miss a whole bunch. It was mostly just, Mayor Tenma claiming to be Tenmataro to, you missed Black Quill getting tased like 4 times by Bobby here. Trying to think of what else. We saw the child for a little bit. We saw Trucy. Did Prosecutor Black Quill figure out that the victim was the Amazing Ninetales? He did indeed. He's a sharp one, all right. He figured it out while investigating the municipal merger and the victim's past. The Amazing Ninetales sparked the yokai craze and worked against the merger. And Mayor Damien Tenma is the corrupt politician who murdered that great hero. The Amazing Ninetales fans are so angry, they even tried to storm the detention center.
I don't blame them. I mean, their favorite masked wrestling hero was murdered. They must have been shocked when they found out what happened.
Speaking of which, isn't Jinxie also a fan of the Amazing Ninetales?
A wrestler's mask is more precious than his own life. He'd never unmask himself in front of others. But there are matches where wrestlers battle for the right to remove each other's masks. Ugh. To have your mask torn off is the worst humiliation a wrestler could suffer. That's why their masks are more important to them than life itself.
She spoke with a passion that only a fan could appreciate.
We ought to become fans ourselves and go protest in front of the prison.
What? No, did you forget that Mayor Tenma is not only Jinxie's father, but our client?
Oh, yeah.
You be careful now, you're defending the most hated mayor in history. I just hope you don't find yourself on the wrong end of a figure 4 leg lock. Maybe I should wear a mask to hide my identity. Are there any other new developments we should know? Now that you mention it, our suspect is suffering partial memory loss, but he did manage to remember something. Did? What did he say? He said he didn't want to speak with us. His exact words were, "I'm under no obligation to speak with you mortals." And other things of that nature. I wonder what Mayor Tenma remembered. Too bad you can't go ask him now, but Prosecutor Blackwell's busy questioning him. I know, why don't you wait down at the playground with the rest of the kids? Haha!
What now, Apollo?
How about regrouping back to the agency?
Good idea. We might get some words of wisdom out of Mr. Wright while we're there.
Maybe I'll go read over some past cases.
And I'll go do some research on exorcisms. Hey, what's with you guys? You seem bummed out.
How should I put this? It's like we're at the edge of the cliff and the only way is down.
In other words, business as usual, right?
Yeah, I suppose so. Except this time is like we're bound and gagged, too.
Don't forget blindfolded with our ears plugged up. Oh, and monsters at every turn, huh? It sounds rough. And kinky.
Hey, Apollo. Oh, and Athena's here, too.
Mr. Wright.
How goes the investigation, Apollo? Athena?
I think it's safe to say things have gotten hairier than before.
Really? What happened? Hey, Mr. Wright, did you know that I'm a lawyer? Your attorney's badge, huh? I used to show mine to everyone, too. Why? You know, I never really thought about it. But I could ask you the same question. Me? Well, I guess you could say I show it because there's someone to show it to. Or something like that. Well, when you say it like that, it sounds kind of, I don't know, philosophical? Yes, it does. Or does it? I was watching the two of you this morning from the gallery. That was one tough day in court, to say the least. Ace Attorney calling the entire player base out. Yeah, exactly. You gotta present the badge to everyone. It's a requirement. I know. I've never had to defend a yokai before. That business about the locked room was another major hurdle.
Yeah, and on top of that, Jinxie was accused of being an accomplice.
But at least you figured out how someone could have escaped that locked room. It's a badge of honor, yeah. Oh, we found out, yeah, well, we just found out that our reasoning might be a tad flawed. Oh, really? That's bad news.
How are we gonna get out of this one?
The worst of times are when lawyers have to force their biggest smiles.
Force a smile?
Yeah. My mentor taught me that back when I was still learning the trade. She also taught me to return to the basics whenever I got stuck. Return to the basics? That's right. Always believe in your client, no matter what happens. That's a lawyer's greatest and most trusted weapon. Basics. Always believe in your client, huh? Man, Phoenix's face looks so smooth. So, Mr. Wright, how long have you known Athena? I met her during a trip to Europe. Huh? You were in Europe? Why haven't I heard about this before? Yeah, I went there a few times to study the various legal systems over there. Oh, okay. Wait a minute. I thought you worked as a pianist after you quit practicing law. I did, but an old friend of mine needed help with some legal work from time to time, so... Oh, I guess you were never really very far from the courtroom then.
It was like fate brought us together. It's thanks to Mr. Wright that I became a lawyer at all.
I knew she was lawyer material from the moment I met her. I have high hopes for her ability to analyze people's emotions.
Aw, it's nothing special.
You know, this face is really weird, but I also find it kind of cute. Maybe I've underestimated that analytical psychology of hers.
It's just, I thought that if my special ability could help defend innocent people, then I had to do everything in my power to bring it to the courtroom. That's when I really started hitting the books hard.
I'm still amazed she actually became a lawyer. At the tender age of 18, no less. Wow, it's almost superhuman. Or personal. Like she's trying to help somebody she knows.
Alright, I'm totally pumped up after talking to you, Mr. Wright.
I was gonna say something. Oh god, I just realized something horrible about Athena's, like, model. Not all of the lines on Athena's model have the thick black outline. Why are only some of them outlined? Like, the ribbon here has no black outline on it, but the ribbon in between, like, the ponytail and the chunk of her hair off to the left is outlined. And then you come over here and the top isn't outlined, but that one makes sense because it's too close to the top outline. But, like, you come down over to here, like, looking at her, like, clothes, and, like, everything is decently outlined for the most part. And then you come way down to the bottom, and the inner part of her shirt is not outlined. Why?
Alright, I'm totally pumped up after talking to you, Mr. Wright. It's like you said, the worst of times are when lawyers have to force their biggest smiles.
And don't forget to return to the basics whenever you get stuck. Like, okay, the biggest thing for me that's throwing me off is that, most of the time when you're doing it... Okay, this is very subjective. But, at least the way that I have taught myself to do big, bold outlines, and the way that I see commonly around for big, black, bold outlines, is that you do the whole character silhouette in big black, and then you shade with pure black. Does that make sense? You shade with pure black, and then you give shading like accent colors to stuff. And I understand that that's probably just the way that I do stuff and not like a rule at all, but like it's the thing that's throwing me off is the fact that he's got like the character models have black outlines all the way around the outside of them, like they should. But they also have black outlines around the inside of some of their silhouettes. This game is going to take us a month to finish, isn't it? And don't forget to return to the basics whenever you get stuck. Keep believing in my client. Right. Sorry, that was gross. I did not mean to burp. Mr. Wright? Yes? I'm going to go visit our client again. I think that's a good idea. Alright, time to see what's new down at the detention center. Yeah, I really like that they have a picture of Zack up on the wall.
Mayor Tenma, we wanted to talk to you about something.
Kasha! That wasn't your voice at all. I don't know where that came from. Caw, 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 caw. So my minions have returned.
Apollo, he still thinks he's a yokai.
You want to see something kind of stupid that you'll never be able to unsee? The sweat dripping from Athena's forehead just dissolves right above the text box right here. I wonder if we'll ever be able to talk to Mayor Tenma again. Silence, peddler of the legal trade. Free me from these imprisoning walls with great haste.
Wow, he's sounding more and more like a real demon with every sentence. I'm starting to wonder if we should even be helping him with his win his freedom.
Still, we can't let Mayor Tenma stay possessed. You know what I mean? If you can clear me of these charges, I shall help in whatever manner I may. Now ask of me what you will. I suppose it's worth a shot. Were those feathers and tracks at the scene of the crime really your doing? Indeed. Remnants of Tenma Taro, king of the underworld, they be. Day when I once again dominate the mortal world is at hand. Caw, 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 caw.
The prosecution claims the feathers and tracks were planted by Jinxie.
What's this? I must breach these walls and go defend my little Jinxie at once.
Huh? Mayor Tenma, is that you?
Well now. Damien appears to still reside within this body. But I should have expected as much from a descendant of mine. Be silent now, Damien. Guess a little thing like demonic possession won't stop a father's love for his daughter. You didn't kill Alderman Cuby, did you? I've killed no one. The remnants of my presence have been misconstrued. The murderer is not I. For if I had slain that mortal, raging hellfire would have consumed him. Yikes. Leaving naught but ash. Yikes. So, you're saying there must have been somebody else there? Come to think of it, the mayor had mentioned that he'd been clubbed with a statue. I had better ask about this too. Detective Fulbright mentioned that you might have something new to tell me. Indeed, I have. I regurgitated this key but a short while ago. Behold, the key to the Forbidden Chamber. Whoa! Is regurgitation one of your demonic powers too? Bah! I do not waste my powers on such parlor tricks. Take the key from the killer. Take the key from the killer, did Damien. Whereupon he swallowed it. He sought to bar the killer entry to the Forbidden Chamber. So he wanted to keep it shut tight. But no fingerprints shall you find upon that key. How do you know that? Wait, is that another one of your demonic powers then? Foolish mortal. You would have me, Ten Mataro, act as some asinine alchemist. Ow. Probably should have muted before doing that. But I asked the jailer, and my will was done. Quite eagerly, I must add. Caw, 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 caw.
Always an honor to serve, your malevolence.
Guess I'm not the only one he scares the living daylights out of.
Can we ask how you use this key? We couldn't find a keyhole anywhere in or around the door.
Curse that infernal door. But if I had known its manner of opening, long, long ago would I have made my return. Thank you for the hydrate.
He has a point there.
Maybe Jinxie knows something about how the whole thing works. I was hoping you'd take a look at this. As an offering to me, quite admirable. The best thing you could offer to me is to win me my freedom. Caw, 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 caw. Right. I'll do my best. It's time for the brute force method. Descendant of old Ninetails, perhaps. It would seem he's doing quite well these days. Yeah, he's a huge hit from kids all the way up to their grandparents. Seems I've been resting on my laurels for far too long. It's time I too debut in the mortal world. And rekindle my struggle against that wily fox.
That's the spirit. You can make your debut as soon as we get you that not guilty verdict.
Then I had best return to top form. Push-ups and sit-ups could do for now. Caw, caw, caw. Playing a new career as a pro wrestler? What, might I ask, is that? This statue was found at the scene. Someone hit Mayor Tenma over the head with it. It had been wrapped in a large cloth before the alderman's murder. Let me see whether Damien knows about such a thing. Yes, something wrapped in such a cloth, does he recall? A secret gift from Alderman Cuby, it would seem. He, however, had not a chance to see it till now, for the cloth did conceal it. Maybe the cloth fell off or was removed after the mayor was struck? Of that, Damien does not know. Secret gift. Interesting. Maybe Jinxie knows something about it. I should question him about the blackmail letter, too. Let's see what he says when I show it to him. Why... Why, this is that accursed blackmail letter that was sent to Damien. Apparently somebody slipped it into the alderman's pocket. We believe someone, probably the killer, stole it from Mayor Tenma's briefcase. You wouldn't happen to know anything about that, would you? Caw, 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 caw. You have questions, do you? Very well. Ask away, mortal. Gotta finish the brute force method. Ages has it been since I've seen that. We often battled it out like this back in the day.
I've been meaning to ask, which one of you is stronger?
Caw, 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 caw. That would be me, of course. I'm the demon lord of the yokai. Kashaw!
Yeah, but the nine-tailed fox imprisoned you.
Athena, don't encourage him. It's already hard enough as is.
Aw, I just wanted to find out which one was really the strongest.
He already knows that I'm a lawyer. Okay, so it's time for me to end. I am tired from work, so I am going to finish right on the dot tonight. No late stream tonight. Okay. So, schedule is gonna be a bit weird because tomorrow morning, I will not be streaming. This is my Sunday stream. There will not be a Monday morning stream, but that's because I am going to do I'm going to sleep in. I'm going to sleep early. I'm going to do a, hopefully, keyword hopefully, 12-hour stream. We will see how long my endurance lasts. So we're going to be starting in the middle of the day. I will try to figure out details like soon. I'll put them out in the Discord when I've got them. But yeah. What else? But yeah, we'll be doing I'm gonna call it. I've been workshopping the title on this. I'm gonna call it Randothon because we're gonna play a fuckload of randomizer. I'm gonna set up randomizer seeds for every single game I've played randomizer of, and maybe even a couple new ones. So that'll be fun. I don't know. There's a part of me that's like, maybe I should like set it as like, you know, oh, 12 hours and then do like a subathon sort of deal, but at the same time, subathons have the potential to get really out of hand. And the other issue with that is that like, I don't have a whole bunch of time off from work currently, so I only have those 2 days. But, yeah, give me just a sec and we will find someone to raid. Okay, I am just going to go ahead and turn my model back on. It's gonna stare at you for a little bit. Oh, cool. Luna's streaming, I believe, oh, they're, streaming the end of Ace Attorney 1. Oh, sorry, Violet. I'm doing good. Don't worry, you'll, not tomorrow morning, tomorrow, evening. Or tomorrow, or not tomorrow. Day after tomorrow, middle of the day. That one. Long stream, that one. Look forward to it. I'll put out more information in the Discord. Exclamation point Discord, by the way. You've got, like, 30 seconds. If you want to join the Discord and keep up to date on stuff. But yeah, otherwise, thank you all so much for watching. I hope that you enjoyed. I hope to see you here. I guess technically it is tomorrow, because today is Sunday, isn't it? My schedules are all sort of out of whack. Yeah, today's Sunday, so Monday afternoon is where we're doing long stream. But yeah, I hope to see you there for Randothon. Have a good one, and take care.